yeah, I would say that this is super uber duper fast production right here. I mean, just look at this stuff. You can't beat this speed. Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, that would probably break my computer, so I'm not gonna do that. Hello everybody, welcome back to some more All the Mods 9. Today, we are going to be automating the mystical agricultures, and not with these things, mind you, these hopper botany pots that run super freakishly slow. Ugh, we don't want any of that shenanigans. We want uber fast production, mass production, and also just generally freakishly laggy because I'm always on edge when it comes to All the Mods 9. So we're gonna need to collect a bunch of stuff so that way we can set up what we're gonna need to do to automate this. But before that, I should probably explain what I've done here. So first thing that some of you may have noticed is that the controller itself is currently missing from this thing. And no, it is not beneath it. It is completely gone and replaced with an ME wireless transceiver. This thing carries basically the channels that you can get all across wirelessly, not cross-dimensionally though. I did try that once upon a time, doesn't work. So it's carrying the channel that I'm getting from the controller, which is put into another location. Why did I do this? Let me show you. So the way that controllers work is they each carry 32 channels, but you can actually connect them into a giant network so that way all their channels then coalesce. You would need to be able to hook them up onto all the opening sides to access them, but they're still pretty usable and still pretty powerful. Hence why I made this. This is 20 different ME controllers. I think in total there's like over 2,000 channels I have access to over here, and I don't entirely understand channels. But from what I know, this should be well more than enough. This thing is taking a crap ton of power. All these things to be powered, along with all the other processes I've had, it is a lot. And thankfully, my reactor came in clutch. Except I had to upgrade it for it to do that. So if you saw the last video, I did a 5x5 from the Extreme Reactors mod. It was just the basic kind, and I cooled it with the diamond blocks. Well, in order for me to upgrade it past that 5x5 so that way I could give it more energy, I had to make these reinforced reactor stuff. They weren't terribly expensive. All the recipes were basically the same. It's just that steel had replaced the iron. So it was pretty much just more the same. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's get into preparing the place and stuff that we're going to need to farm the mystical agricultures. So first and foremost, we have the inferium seeds right here. The way you get these is just by surrounding some normal seeds with inferium, and you get inferium by killing things and or the seeds. But as for where I can actually set up this farm that I'm going to be needing, I'm going to need a dedicated area. I don't have any such areas in my base that are accessible, and the lower floors are still broken up. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to make this thing called the hyperbox. We need crying obsidian surrounded by ender pearls. I could have sworn I had some crying obsidian, but that's fine because I know where I can get some. Literally right out here at the meteor site that I saw at the very first episode over, I don't even know, it was like in the teens of episodes ago. Get out of here. We saw this meteor, and inside of it was crying obsidian. I don't know what happened to the rest of it, but we do have the one of it, which is all I'm going to need, so you know what? It all works out. So now we can go ahead and place that into there, and there we go. We've got ourselves this hyperbox. What this hyperbox is, it's basically like compact machines, if you know what those are, where you place this thing down, and then you can go into it, and it acts as another dimension where you can then store whatever you'd like into there. Such as, say, a massive, super efficient, super special farm. And that's exactly what we are going to do. So let's go ahead and put this somewhere where it would be easily accessible. Alright, I found a place for it. I'm putting it right into here. And now I think all I have to do is just... Oh, interesting. So I have to create a dimension. We'll call it the special... What the heck? It didn't let me do it. Okay, we'll call it the special... It keeps taking me out. Wait. Oh! I is kicking me out. The I key. Wait, why is I kicking me out? Okay, I think I might have found the potential problem. An open/close accessories inventory, that was configured to I. So now, if I go back into here, okay, That was it. Alrighty, so if you ever need to use I in one of these things, make sure to disable that. Alrighty, so we've got this too. Special farm is the dimension ID, and it will also be the hyperbox name. I had to use an underscore for a spacing, but you know what? That's fine. So now we can save and enter it, and here we go. This right here is going to be the special farm. It's actually a really big area. I'm not sure I needed this much, but definitely welcome. I will definitely accept all of this. So now that we've gotten that, we just need to grab ourselves a buttload of dirt, which, yeah, that should be well more than enough. Maybe not, maybe it is. Either way, dirt is in abundance. And then we're going to need to make this thing right here called the harvester pylon, which takes quartz slabs, very easy to grab, and then we should be able to combine all this, and there we go. So what this thing does is within its allowed area, it will then begin to harvest any crops that are able to be harvested, and I think it replants the seeds. It might not even take out the seeds. And it will need a hoe, and that hoe's durability will then be used up. So you see this little hoe right here, what is self-proclaimed the most useless item in all Minecraft? I'm about to make it more useless. And how am I gonna make it more useless, you might ask? Well, simply by turning it into a netherite diamond hoe. And there we go. Now it is even more useless than a diamond hoe. And you know what? Because of this mod pack, we can make it even more useless by making it an all-the-modium hoe. Why did I do this? Because all-the-modium is unbreakable. So basically what this thing does is it uses up the durability of the hoe inside of it. But since this thing doesn't have durability, it'll keep using it without cost. So I guess all the modium hoe does have a use after all. Go figure. The last thing we're going to want is this stuff called the red fertilizer. It gave me 28. That's not ideal, but hopefully it should be a good enough amount. So now all that's left for us to do is to set up a little area right here of dirt and water. Alrighty, so I think I'm gonna go with this kind of setup where it's gonna be a striped pattern. I was between this and a checkered board pattern, and while I could have done this in a way that would make it super duper fast, I don't want to go too heavy with this for lag reasons. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put the harvester pylon here where the water can still flow, and then we're going to put all the modium indestructible hoe on in there. And then we want this to increase to 9 by 9, I think will cover the whole area. But now all that would be left for me to do would be to place an inventory right above that. I'm gonna do like a basic chest and or barrel for right now, because I won't really be automating this all at the moment, but by the end of the video, this will be automated, don't worry. Well, I mean, I say I'm gonna do basic, but I'm gonna do netherite just so that way we can get a lot of space. Wow. So now all that would be left to do would be to plant the seeds and then to see just how that's gonna go. But it's not looking like I can even plant these seeds right here. That's interesting. Let me try putting down the fertilizer. It still doesn't work. Did they change it so that way you can't do this?
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I've concluded that the problem is the hyperbox. I don't know why it was a problem, but it was a problem. So we've moved this outside. I made sure it's all in one chunk so I won't have to load more than one. And I built basically just a little 9x9 farm, just so that way it won't be too much, but at the very least, it should still be effective. And this thing did say that it has a maximum of 9x9, so I decided to just have it all be in there. I think the old one might have just been too big for it, so you know what? It'll be fine. So now what we will be able to do is we'll just be able to make all of these things with this fertilized soil, and then when we place this thing here, this will start to grow just the teensiest bit faster with this fertilized farmland. Because what the red one is gonna do is it's gonna make it so that way anything that is on top of it is gonna grow a little bit faster. I can also actually go ahead and put down these steel seeds as well right there, and that should be good. But this is not the uber fast that I had promised. It can still be even faster. And to do that, we are going to need lily pads. Now, not normal lily pads, mind you. These lily pads are special. They're called the lily pads of fertility. They require a lily pad to make, but they also require something called fertile essence, which takes a catalyzing grind, which you can get from creepers, a rib bone, which you get from skeletons, slime pearl, guess where you get that, and then also some green dye. All of those things I was able to gather up thanks to the hostile neural networks. The slime pearl is actually full, so that one may very well be backed up. So let's go ahead and then just make as many of these as we can. Just absolutely stack up on it. It should be good. I think that's already well enough. And how many lily pads do I have? I gathered up a few. I have 41 lily pads. Okay, so I'll be able to make all of these into fertility ones. I don't know if this will be enough or if this is more than enough, but for right now, there we go. And wow, there's still some in there. Holy crap, that's actually a problem because it's all connected to one ender chest, so I'm gonna need to get that thing a storage upgrade. I'm gonna just do the copper one for right now, just because that one's the easiest for me to get, so hopefully this will repair all that problem. There we go, I'll have to figure more of that out later, but for right now, let's go ahead and take these lily pads of fertility over to our farm, and wow, it is nighttime. Well, let's just put these right here, and then what these babies are gonna do is in a 9x9 area, they will increase crop growth. And the more of them you have, the more it piles on. As you can see over there, these things are already starting to grow even faster. And wow, I actually already had enough, so it just needs 40 for the whole 9x9 farm. And there we go. Now those things are this thing isn't working. Okay, so maybe I need to put this in water then, because when I ponder this thing, it does have it like that. So let's put that there, put it on the whole 9x9, and then we can put the inventory space above it, and there we go. Okay, so it did need to be submerged in water. Okay, that explains a lot. Okay, and look at how fast it's growing! Dude! This is so awesome! And, you know, the funny thing is, if I change this stuff out for the essence farmland, it's potentially faster. I don't know if this will give me the seeds that this thing generates. It should, but I'm uncertain. So let's go ahead and just take out the inferium, and then, okay, it does give me the byproducts, because this fertilized essence only has a 10% chance of dropping, so it will give me the seeds eventually. Okay, so then let's go ahead and then make some more inferium, so that way we can then make even more of this producing. And I'll just leave the steel here just because I will make more stuff outside of just inferium with this farm, but inferium is going to be the main part, simply because inferium is going to be the only real thing I'm going to need when it comes to the star progression. But for right now, though, we can utilize it for multiple things if need be. Alrighty, so I spread out some more of the inferium seeds out just a little bit. It's not fully out of the way, but it's been about 5 minutes since I started this. And look at all of this essence. Not even just the inferium, but even that one steel seed. This one little boy alone right here. And we have gathered up that much of it. I mean, the inferium is impressive enough on its own. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get really high in the essence factor on that part alone. For basic farms, this is probably a really good one that you can do. There are faster ways that you can do this. I've seen some faster ways from one of the creators of this mod pack, actually. This little boy right over here. I actually didn't even know he was involved with this mod pack, but apparently he was. And the faster ways that you can do this are very awesome. They're insane. But I won't be doing them for fear of lagging out the server. And also, just look at this, okay? I don't want to get too greedy with these things. With how many processes I'm going to have in the future that may or may not cause lag, I don't want to push it too much. But so far, what we've got here is good enough. Especially since I don't need to do all of these seeds. I'm not going to try and just do the whole thing that I've done in other Skyblock mod packs where I will get all of my resources from seeds. I won't be doing that. I will only be doing ones that either involve great processes that I have no other means of getting, and this is just the best option, or just basic things that are just going to come all around that I don't want to just like keep on digging up. Oh, we got a blood moon. Bottom line is the mystical agriculture will be limited to the main essence and maybe a few other minor exceptions. Either way, this is good for right now. I'm gonna head on home, and when I come right back, you're all gonna see the final automation for this thing.
Eventually.
And there we go. Just look at all of this. So I managed to fill up the rest of these with the inferium seeds, and we have all of that going up into this tier 3 crafter, which has all of the recipes together, and all of them are set on to keep the things on the interior, so that way it can then go up to the next one, with the exception of the insainium essence, which is the final tier, where it just keeps the buckets behind. That way we can keep our master infusion crystal remaining in here. I was actually able to get one of those. It took quite a lot of things because I needed 4 of these insainium to be able to get it. And just one of these insainiums, keep this in mind, one of these insainium is 16 stacks of inferium. So that means just to make this master infusion crystal, I needed 64 stacks of inferium. I needed a stack of stacks to get this far. Oh, but we have done it. So now all those things are combusting together, and then we get ourselves the insainium, which then goes up into the ender chest, which sends it right back over to our drawer wall. And if we go into over here, excluding the stuff that we've already utilized, I have 10 insainium. I have only been doing this for about 15 to 20 minutes. In 15 to 20 minutes, we have generated 10 of this insainium, and that is excluding the stuff that we had to use. Now, some of you might think that you wouldn't call this super uber duper fast, and you can think that all you want, but just think about this for a second. I am getting about an insainium every few minutes, give or take. And all of these things are growing up far faster than they ever would if I were to put them in an insainium farmlanded botany pot. Let's see. Yeah, inferium in an insainium would take 1 minute and 6 seconds to grow. These inferiums are taking about 6 seconds to grow. And all of that leading up to the insainium. So, yeah, I would say that this is super uber duper fast production right here. I mean, just look at this stuff. You can't beat this speed. Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, that would probably break my computer, so I'm not gonna do that. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Eventually, we may just be able to get the creative essence, which is gonna take a block of insainium. 4 blocks of insainium and 4 blocks of insainium gemstones, and 1 gemstone just equates to 2. That is gonna be a lot of insainium. Let me math that out real quick just to see how much just one of these is gonna cost. Alrighty, so I did the math, okay? Bear this in mind. One of these blocks costs 9 of the insainium. These gemstone blocks cost 2 insainium per gemstone, which means that these things are 18 insainium. So the insainium blocks altogether, that is 36 insainium. The gemstones are 72 insainium. Altogether, this is 108 insainium. Bear in mind, 1 insainium is 16 stacks of inferium. The direct number of inferium that it takes to make just one of them is 1024, okay? So then 1024 multiplied by 108, if this is the correct way to math this out, I'm not very good at math, but if this is the correct way, it's 110,808 inferium. That is going to be very fun. And you know what? It's a good thing that we're doing this now while we're still in the early stages of making all the mods star, because I mean, we are nowhere near actually being able to get that yet. That's going to be episodes down the line. Do you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last All the Mods 9 video where we built an extreme reactor, a 5x5 cooled by diamonds. Bye-bye!